Hey, how you doing? This is RJ. I think I'm going to stop saying I'm going to do something new today on my channel because honestly, my channel is just a mixed bag of things. And today, I'm going to react to something I found from the Marvel Twitter site. And I'm actually going to play the video for you. It's only about a minute and a half long, but I want to play it so that you can have a reaction to it before I give you my reaction to it because I really think that this needs to be reacted to. So I'm not even going to give you any setup. Just going to play the video.
Bringing the Marvel Universe to Disney Cruise Line is a great collaboration. Guest interaction during Marvel Day at Sea is one of a kind. You actually will be able to step into these adventures. You'll be able to interact with Spider-Man or Iron Man or Thor and be part of their universe. They will include you and bring you in.
Marvel Day at Sea is filled with amazing entertainment opportunities. We're going to really immerse you in the Marvel Universe.
We have a great show at the Walt Disney Theater featuring Doctor Strange. This is a multimedia theatrical experience featuring surround sound and projection and that great character of Dr. Stephen Strange battling with the mystic arts.
The thing I'm most excited about is the finale deck show. So if you've ever wanted to be in a Marvel battle, this is the place to be.
So not only do you get this action-packed day of Marvel experiences, but you get all of the other great entertainment and experiences that Disney Cruise Line offers.
All right, so there you go. Now, after having watched that a couple of times myself, I honestly can't pin down exactly my reaction to this because at one point I'm enthralled, but at the same time, I'm kind of sort of repulsed by it. I don't know why, but it's the two at the same time. And I'm thinking about it and I'm saying to myself, yeah, this does not bode well for comics at all. Not just Marvel, but I mean comics in general. And for two reasons, I think. The first reason is that it kind of shows with this that this is what Disney is doing, okay? They put this up on their Twitter site because they're adding Miss Marvel to the mix, because her movie is coming out as well. So really, Marvel has this all planned out. I mean, Disney has this all planned out, probably for years and years to come. This is their plan. It's all structured, it's all planned out, and this is all part of their plan. And if you look at these heroes on this cruise line, this is what they have planned. This is their money. This is where things are going. And as I said, I'm kind of enthralled by it because it's kind of spectacular. I mean, yeah, I know, I realize that it's just Doctor Strange doing a magic show, but that'd be kind of cool. And to see Spider-Man crawl up the side of the smokestack, that'd be really cool. I mean, it would be really cool. It's a visual spectacle. I mean, and there's cringy parts to it, I'm sure, but at the same time, there's some really cool parts to it as well. But the point is that, well, I think that is the point. It was really cool. But you see all these heroes, right? They have to move exactly like they are in the movies. They have to look exactly like they are in the movies. You see, Doctor Strange, his hand movements have to be exactly like they were in the movies, right? And this is what it is, because this is the fact that there is going to be no change anymore for these heroes. They're not dead so much as preserved in a museum. They will never change again. I mean, even if we get rid of SJW Marvel, I don't think that Marvel is ever going to recover at all because of this, because of Disney, because these heroes can never change anymore, because this is where their money comes from. I mean, if there's any change ever made, it's going to be through the movies. It's not going to be through the comics, certainly not anymore. And Richard Meyer over in Diversity in Comics is talking about how the comics are just bland now. They just go to 80%. No one ever goes to 100%. It's just bland. And I think that's for a reason. I mean, maybe this was the reason why they tried to replace all the heroes to begin with. I mean, sure, the SJW stuff played into it, but they thought at corporate level that, yeah, let's do that because we need to replace all these heroes because we can't have them changing again. We can't have them changing and evolving and becoming better. Or we can't have what we used to have. They need to be stagnant. They need to be exactly the same so that everybody can recognize them. So that all these little kids can recognize all the small little things. Just like they were a Disney princess. Just like the fact that Sleeping Beauty hasn't changed for what? I don't know how many years it's been. Like 40, 50 years at least. Same thing. Our heroes will never change again. Will never change again. And even if we get rid of the SJWs, Marvel is going to have that mediocre tone to it until it dies or until Disney decides to let it go. One or the other. Because they're never going to change. There's never going to be a great story anymore. There'll be mediocre stories, but there'll be no great stories anymore. There won't be any Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. There won't be any Kraven the Hunter. There won't be any Days of Future Past. These great stories. They won't be there. They'll never come again. Not with these heroes. They just won't. And that's the thing. It's the great stories. And I'm always coming back to this. Maybe it's because I'm a writer. It's the great stories, if you ask me. And that's the key. And that's really where it needs to go. Because if you look at this, right? I mean, right now, you can go to the movies and you can see this visual spectacle come to life. You can turn on your television and see it come to life. You can put something into your gaming system and you can play it in a way that is almost true to life. And you can go to these shows now where you can see Spider-Man scaling the side of a building or Doctor Strange doing magic. Any of these kinds of things. I mean, the visual spectacle is now real. I mean, it's real. We know it's a show. We know it's a game. We know it's a movie. But it's real. That's as real as it's going to get. And that's a whole lot more real than a comic book. To some extent, I would say that's a whole lot more real. People are going to grasp onto that visual spectacle. Because the reason why comics worked so well is because we're taking usually fantasy fiction, not always, but usually, and we're giving it a visual, a spectacular visual. But today, that spectacular visual can be outdone. On the page, it can still look spectacular, but to see Spider-Man actually climbing up the side of a building, that's spectacular. I mean, he doesn't have to even be fighting a supervillain just to watch that. So the visual spectacle of comics is gone. I mean, it still needs to be there, but it's been outdone. And so if comics really wish to survive, I would say that there needs to be a concentration on storytelling. And it's not going to happen at Marvel, and it's not going to happen at DC, because they have to make their stories stagnant. They have to make their characters stagnant so everybody recognizes them. But at the same time, I'm going to criticize Comicsgate, because in Comicsgate, you're not finding that spectacular story either. I mean, when you think about Chris Claremont, right? Those silly stories were in there, but they were there to break up the drama. They were there to break up the heroics, the great spectacular stories. But from Comicsgate right now, all you're getting is those silly kinds of stories. And if that's where comics eventually go to, because, I mean, with no movement in Marvel and DC, it's going to have to go somewhere. Our comics are actually going to have to come from somewhere else if we want real comics and not just hand out pamphlets to get you to go see a movie. We got to go to our independent comic book producers. And if that's all they produce, if they produce something that's kind of silly, kind of campy, I mean, I suppose that'd be okay. I would be okay with that. I mean, like I said, on a lot of my videos, I've been around for the Bronze Age, and that's what was there. But, and it wasn't bad. But when comics became really great, from the sort of mid to late 80s onwards to the 2000s, it was a visual spectacle that really pulled it along. But if that's no longer there, if that's been outdone by so many other different kinds of media, then the story needs to be the story needs to be the one that takes the lead. The story needs to be the one that pulls the book along and makes it great. There still needs to be good art, maybe even spectacular art. But the heavy lifting is going to have to be done by the story if comics wish to become great in the sense of what we remember from the 90s. That's all I can come up with when I watch this, that the great storytelling is done for those heroes that you just saw on the screen. And if you have a new hero, great storytelling needs to come to your hero if you wish to be more than just a flash in the pan. If you wish to be more than just, I made $250,000 on this book and that's all that's going to happen. Everybody's going to be forgotten about. All these characters are going to be forgotten about. If you want to make more of an impact, it's got to be a concentration on the story. Anyways, I just wanted to get that out there because really, I want to get your take on this because I'm really got a mixed bag of feelings about this video that we just watched. Tell me what your feelings are about it. Tell me what you think this means for comics, because I think stuff like this happening and the fact that they had this planned out for years in advance is going to affect comic books drastically over the next 10 years at least. So if I've given you anything new to think about, hit like, hit the shield in the lower right hand corner of your screen to subscribe, and like I said, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about this. What does it mean for comics? What does it mean for the medium that we all love? All right, I'll see you later. Bye.